Jokic is over where he's at. MVP, 3-time MVP. What shoes does he wear?
I believe
we don't know. Cade being in Detroit, playing the way he's playing, having 7 triple doubles. Where does that rank? No one knows.
Okay, all right, enough. Let's deal with this. Top Title Entertainment. Let's go.
Perfect.
What's good? Welcome to Top Title Entertainment. I am Eric Vincent, Detroit Pistons beat reporter for ClutchPoints.com, and your host for today. I appreciate you for being here because I got to really get into this issue, man. This is something that's been irking my nerves for a while. It's really something that's been taking a life of its own, and it's time to deal with it right here. Gilbert Arenas has been responding to a topic that he started in regards to Cade Cunningham, the Detroit Pistons, and small market teams and their exposure around the NBA. I asked JB Bickerstaff, Detroit Pistons head coach, I asked him prior to their game on the 16th of January, just a couple weeks ago, I asked him before their game against the Pacers about his quote, where he said after Cade's performance in a win against the New York Knicks, Gilbert said Cade's game is defined as a big city game where he needs to leave Detroit so his game can properly flourish. He says his game is, as he quotes, this is what he said, his game is too big and too good for his city. So I tweeted about it, I've talked about it, and I have taken a giant stance against it ever since he said it, and we're going to dive more into it even more. I just want to give the proper background right now. So I put the tweet out. I actually asked JB Bickerstaff about it, and he stood up for his team saying that he disagrees with it. He cited different players around the league throughout the history of the NBA that have succeeded for small market teams, that have succeeded in teams that are not New York, LA, Boston, Miami, the big market teams of the NBA. He cited a lot of credible names that have done well through their careers, Pistons and non-Pistons, regardless of them being in a big market area. So Gilbert responded a couple days ago, and he went on to basically double down on his stance. But he kind of pivoted a little bit with what he was saying. Let's play a little bit of what Gilbert had to say, because I don't want to get anything incorrect. I want to make sure you guys understand these quotes and understand these sentiments, because I don't want to come off as a hater. I do hate what he said, but I don't want to come off as a hater. Haters hate for irrational reasons, and I don't want to be a hater for an irrational reason. So let's hear what Gilbert had to say so you can get a full understanding on where I'm coming from in terms of his quote. Let's hear it.
So what he's saying is his opinion has nothing to do with the facts, because the facts are still the facts, right? We have Donovan Mitchell doing his thing over there, right?
Yes, number one option.
No one talks about it. Right? No one talks about it. Shea is number one over there, right? No one buys his shoes. Right? He's in the fashion, he's in it. Can't sell no. Jokic is over where he's at. MVP, 3-time MVP. What shoes does he wear?
I believe
we don't know. Cade being in Detroit, playing the way he's playing, having 7 triple doubles. Where does that rank? No one knows.
Wow. I have so many issues with everything that came out of his mouth. I've had a problem with this since he brought up this issue after the New York Knicks game. So, again, he has his show, Gil's Arena, where him, Josiah Johnson, Brandon Jennings, Rashad McCants, they're talking about Cade's performance. And, again, he's basically just doubling down on how a player like Cade Cunningham and these small market players on their teams are not going to get the proper exposure unless they leave the team that they're on. That don't make no damn sense in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand that, especially in the age of 2025. He cited guys like Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Nikola Jokic. Now, when this conversation started, Gilbert Arenas started by saying Cade's game needs to flourish, meaning his game on the court, his exposure, like what he does as an athlete on the court. Now with this conversation, it's basically shifted to outside of the game. It's also now going to marketability and endorsements and likability and whatever. I don't really understand how it pivoted to that, because you said Cade had big city game. So when you're talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shoes, who gives a damn about what shoes he's wearing? That's not to say that shoes aren't important and that they can't have influence in basketball, but when you're playing at an MVP level, I don't really think that's the most important thing to be worried about for a guy that's dominating in the league right now, that's playing the best basketball of any other point guard in the NBA. Nikola Jokic, the exact same thing. You're right. I don't know what shoes he wears. And I guarantee you, he don't give a damn either. This is the same dude that we see drop triple-doubles, and people drop memes on Twitter constantly of him thinking and dreaming about horses while he's dropping dominant numbers against his opponents. Donovan Mitchell is the exact same conversation. No, you didn't bring up his shoes, but last I checked, he's starting in the Eastern Conference for the All-Star game. Am I wrong about that? Him and Jalen Brunson, that's the starting backcourt for the East. Like, he was in the top, 2, 3 for Eastern Conference guards in terms of the voting results. So if people aren't paying attention, how did those results come up? If people aren't paying attention, how did he get that nod and that honor? Because he earned it and because people care. Bruh, I don't understand this notion at all. I really don't, especially in 2025, in the internet era, in the social media era, where, like JB Bickerstaff said, it's not just about the location you play, because the game travels. The NBA social media page is able to promote a guy like Victor Wembanyama. Now, yes, he's an alien and a unicorn of a player, but he plays for the San Antonio Spurs. I don't think I'd consider the Spurs a big market. And even if it's not a big market, who the hell cares, man? Talent is talent. Players are players, man. If greatness is in front of you, you should be able to acknowledge it accordingly, regardless of the market that they play for. Cade Cunningham's in the exact same situation. First of all, Detroit's not a small market. I really don't understand this notion. Yes, they've been losing and struggling a lot over the past several years. We can concede and understand that. That doesn't make a team a small market just because your care for the franchise is at a minimum level. That doesn't make them a small market. It just makes your care and your attention for it, no disrespect, it makes it lazy. It makes it lazy for the team that you, as a former player who played for small market teams, you should have, if anybody, should have a respect and understanding for that. Brandon Jennings did too. He played for the Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. Those aren't, according to y'all, not big market teams. They're not the sexy, markets like New York and LA and Miami, but they still were credible enough to be the respected players that they were at their time. And if you're still talking about players right now, I don't give a damn what their market is. That's not even a factual statement that he made. What makes his statement so crazy too anyway? Because they kept going on about like the markets and the players and their exposure for their teams, like Trae Young and what he's doing for Atlanta. We just talked about Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jokic. He pulled his phone up and did research to verify his points. Rashad McCants gave him a little bit of pushback on that, saying who can debate better. I'm okay if you want to pull your phone out and do research, because that's what you're supposed to do. Do the work. Put some facts behind what you're saying instead of just pushing faux narratives. So let's do some research, shall we? Let's look at some of the best teams in the NBA and the players that represent them. Some of the biggest stars throughout the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're fourth in the Eastern Conference, and Giannis has won the MVP award. He's been a Defensive Player of the Year and an NBA champion. Do you think the Milwaukee market is holding him back? I don't think so. That's just a ridiculous statement to use, man. The Orlando Magic, they were at the 4th seed at one point in the East. They have Paolo Banchero, a rising star. Franz Wagner, rising star. Do you think their market is limiting their visibility? No. When you're playing great and when you're doing great things for your team, you get recognized. Let's keep going through the East, and this is outside of the big markets. Cleveland is the number 1 team in the NBA. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell seem to be flourishing just fine, regardless of the market attention that they get for Cleveland. That don't make no damn sense. Boston and New York. Let's take them out because they're big markets. Then you have the Indiana Pacers in the 5th seed. Pascal Siakam, he seems to be doing just fine. Tyrese Halliburton was just on the Eastern Conference All-Star team last season, and he was on Team USA. Did his small market limit his ability to get on those teams? I don't think so, because talent is talent, bruh. Let's keep going. The Pistons, Atlanta, Chicago, Zach LaVine, a star. Toronto, they have a star in the making in Scotty Barnes. I'm not the biggest fan of dude, but he does a great job of carrying his franchise and garnering attention for them. We're not going to hold that against him just because his market isn't attractive enough. LaMelo Ball, he was the leading vote getter for Eastern Conference guards. Charlotte is at a big market? Bro, what are we talking about? Washington Wizards, Jordan Poole, again, it's a bad team, but he gets enough attention as the player that he is because he's a talented player. You can make the same arguments on the West. Oklahoma City with SGA, Ja Morant in Memphis. Memphis is not a big NBA market. Jalen Green in Houston, Alperen Sengun in Houston. We already mentioned Nikola Jokic in Denver as the 4th seed. Let's take the Lakers out. Let's take the Clippers out. Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. No, Minnesota's not a sexy big market, but has that limited the stardom and the rise of a guy like Anthony Edwards? Not at all. Even when Karl Anthony Towns was there, he was still regarded as one of the best shooters and players at his position when he was with Minnesota before he went to New York. Why are we being lazy about this, bro? I don't understand. Phoenix, I don't know if Phoenix is a big market. I don't think it is. Phoenix is not regarded as a big NBA market, but Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the stars that are there seem to be doing just fine with getting their names out. I don't get it, man. Zion Williamson in New Orleans, when he was a number 1 overall pick, he garnered plenty of attention for a small market team like the New Orleans Pelicans. This is a huge problem in the NBA right now. This is why the title exists right now for this video. The NBA media needs to do better at their job. And I'm a representative of the media. Again, I'm a writer for ClutchPoints.com. I represent the Detroit Pistons. I write and cover for them to the best of my abilities. And I never want to cheapen the audience and the fan base that I represent because I care about the coverage that they are provided. And when you're looking at the camera saying, well, so-and-such is not that great because of the team he plays for. His team may be big city game, but it's never going to flourish and become what it needs to be until he leaves. What? Bruh, all you got to do is pick your phone up and see what someone did on YouTube. Turn on your social media on Instagram and see the dunk that Jalen Green just had. Watch Cade Cunningham's triple-double on Twitter. That's all you have to do at this point. What are we talking about? This lazy coverage and this inability to promote these young stars on these different teams just because you don't want to care for them and give them the attention they deserve, it doesn't mean it's their fault. It's not the market's fault. It's our fault as the media. It's our fault. I'm not going to say your fault, Gilbert. It's our fault. The media has to do better with this stuff. And again, you're a former player. You played for the Wizards. Washington wasn't a huge market when you were in the league, but you made it a big market, didn't you? You and Antoine Jameson made it a big market by being great, by having a rivalry with LeBron, by building a storyline, and being great at what you do. When you dropped 60 points, you weren't doing it on a big market. You were just a damn good player that people wanted to pay attention to. That's how you got that Adidas deal that you were talking about in the clip. That's how you garnered the attention you got as one of the best scorers of the Kobe Bryant era and the Allen Iverson era, Vince Carter. You were mentioned among those guys, bruh. And now you sitting here cheapening the guys of today in the league because of the market that they play for. And not only are you cheapening the league and their product, you're cheapening the product of the NBA media by having the takes that you're delivering, bruh. It's lazy. It's lazy and it's detrimental, bro. A lot of players who were in the NBA who used to hate and rip on the Skip Baylesses of the world and all the hot take merchants of the NBA media circuit, you used to rip them because y'all would say things like, they don't do their homework. They never played. They don't know what they're talking about. They just leap and reach for hot takes to get clicks because they don't actually pay attention and deliver the accurate information about what's going on with the game. Is that really what you think you're doing right now? You're not. You're not at all, bro. You are cheapening this product horribly. You are cheapening it terribly, bro. This is not acceptable at all. I care about this too much to just allow this type of stuff to slide. It doesn't have to be because it was Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. If you were saying this about the Portland Trailblazers, like let's say Anthony Simons was on a heater and he was just going crazy, or Scoot Henderson had 3, 4, 5 straight games of scoring 40 plus points, and you followed it up by saying, well, nobody cares because it's Portland. You would be cheapening the product, and I would still call you out, regardless of what this banner says behind me. It's not about that, bruh. I care too much about this NBA product, and you should too, as one of the greatest who have ever laced up their sneakers and played on the NBA court, bruh. You're too good for that. You're too good for that, bruh. I care about this too much to just let this slide. And I care so much to the point that I even reached out to Josiah Johnson. I'm not too proud, bruh. And I didn't come at them on disrespectful stuff, trying to, put them on blast and make them sound crazy. I strongly disagree with what Gilbert was saying, but I offered the opportunity for me to come on their show and be a local beat reporter for the team that they don't pay much attention to. Because when Rashad McCants was talking about Cade Cunningham's game and comparing him to Brandon Roy, Gilbert's response came across like he didn't understand. He said his mid-range is like that? His mid-range is like that. Rashad said his everything is like that. And any Piston fan or just basketball watcher in general would know that because they picked up the TV or they picked up the phone and took a look at what Cade Cunningham is doing. It could say, yeah, he is like Brandon Roy. And he doesn't need to leave Detroit in order for people to realize that. If you don't want to realize that or watch the Pistons or take that time, that's fine, bro. But y'all got to expand a little bit. Talking about the Lakers 100 times a day like First Take is not doing a proper service. There are great platforms like Pick a Side Podcast who will talk about the Sacramento Kings for a half hour because they just love the game. That has to matter. That has to count for something, bro. I have mad respect for podcasts like that who are willing to talk about any team, not just the popular teams that they're sure will get them the proper viewership. Fans do care. They want to be properly informed about the teams that you played against or for at a certain point. You should want to talk about these teams. You should want to build up these young stars. We're only going to be able to talk about LeBron, KD, and Steph for so long, bruh. They on the way out the door soon. At some point, you have to be able to build up these young stars. And there's so much talent in the league that we should be able to celebrate and push these guys up on the proper pedestal. These guys are on the way. They're doing it right now. I saw Cade Cunningham put KD and his sons on highlight after highlight as they beat them on the road, coming back against the LA Lakers on the road, sweeping them, beating them twice. Like, bro, it has to be some kind of energy put into the young players of this league and the small market and overlooked teams that don't get their proper respect. That's my number one goal in the position that I have. When I'm writing my work for ClutchPoints.com, when I'm sitting here in front of this video for you guys, it's to restore the respect for this product, to give these players the proper credit they deserve. That's why I asked JB Bickerstaff the question in the first place, to give himself a chance and a stage to stand up for not just his team, not just his franchise, but for these overlooked franchises that constantly get disrespected in conversations like this. NBA media, let's do better. Please, bro. Please, let's do better. This is not acceptable. We have too much talent that is brewing right now just for us to say, they're not in the right market, so they'll never flourish like that. What do you mean they're not flourishing? They're doing it right now. They're doing it right now. We just saw Houston take down the Cleveland Cavaliers in a great one-on-one matchup. We just saw them take down the Boston Celtics on the road where Amen Thompson had a triple-double and a game winner at the buzzer, or just before the buzzer, excuse me. We should be celebrating that. We should be giving that the proper credit, not just talking about the same stuff repetitively and giving these lazy excuses for why we can't pay attention to these teams and these players. Got to do better. We got to do better, guys. We, the NBA media, have got to do better. Let's start now. Let's make that change right now, y'all, please. talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what team you represent. Let me know what you think about Gilbert Arenas' comments about these overlooked teams, these overlooked players. I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Run up the numbers real quick for me. I would really appreciate that love and support. Make sure you like the video. I would really appreciate hearing from you in the comment section as well. Again, you can tap in with me, clutchpoints.com. Follow me on social media at I am Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in and being here at Top Title Entertainment. I am Eric Vincent, and I'm going to see you again soon. Peace.